bad, but Melanie's denying it and distancing herself from all of it on Cross.
All right, Chanley Painter, thank you as always for your amazing reporting there live in Boise, Idaho. You can count on Court TV to bring you updates every half hour here on air on the Lori Vallow Daybell trial. And remember, you can also scan the QR code that's up on your screen right now in the bottom corner. It will take you straight to all of the different ways we have made it so easy for you to hear audio clips and see the biggest moments from court. That's because, a reminder, cameras aren't allowed in that room, but we're getting you everything that we can as quickly as we can. I want to welcome my guests for this hour. We have family law attorney Scott Friedman and forensic criminologist Dr. Laura Petler. Let me start with you, Dr. Petler, because we haven't yet gotten to it, but we know, we've seen pictures. I think there's going to be a lot more evidence about the bodies of these two kids. We have JJ and Tylee. Tylee 16, JJ 7. What's interesting to me, and I want you to comment on this, are the different ways that their bodies were buried. And by that I mean JJ had his hands bound and they had tape across his mouth, whereas with Tylee, the body was burned and decomposed and rotting flesh, it was described by one witness. Why the difference?
Because it meets the needs of the offenders, Judge Ashley. That's the easy answer, always the easy answer, right? Because it meets their cognitive needs, it meets their emotional needs, it meets their behavioral needs, and in this case specifically, it meets their beliefs needs or their cultural needs, and the culture goes to speaking about the cult or their belief system about light and dark scales. And for me, when I'm looking at JJ and you're talking about there's tape over his mouth, they don't want him to talk. When you're talking about burning is a way of disintegrating something in a lot of ways where a person is no longer, or it diminishes death even to little pieces of nothing. So the fact that they left one body intact and they disintegrated or burned the other body, it could speak to their belief of how dark one of the victims was versus the other. Maybe one was perceived as being darker than the other.
It is fascinating as we take a deep dive into these things. All right, Scott, so talk to us about, number one, how you think the prosecution is doing so far, and number two, the fact that Lori has been charged not only with murder of 3 people, but also conspiracy for the murders of 3 people and the difference between those kinds of charges.
Well, thanks, Judge Ashley. First of all, I think the prosecution is getting their message out. They have a story to tell. They're using this best friend, Melanie, as someone who's focusing on all of the bizarre behavior of this cult-like stuff, which matches how they found the bodies. So I think they're doing their job. I'm sure as they get more into medical evidence and other forensic evidence, it'll be more detailed for the jury to understand. With respect to the differences in the charges, conspiracy to commit murder is simply that. You're conspiring to murder people, planning it, whether it was with her partner or not, versus murder is actually doing the killing. And so I think one of the things that the prosecution has to get to is, did she actually commit these murders? Was she conspiring to? Probably. Did she actually do it? I think they have to show the medical forensic science of some sort to be able to try to do that effectively.
Right, Scott, and that's what I'm anxious to hear, is whether or not they have any forensic evidence linking her to the actual murders, because if they don't, I think they're going to have a hard time proving that charge. Grateful to both of you for sticking around and being with us. Coming up next, we want to switch gears because a jury has found Zachary Latham not guilty on all charges in the death of his neighbor. We have your reactions. We can't wait to bring this to you and have discussions about the shocking verdict, and these reactions are on social media. We'll have that right after the break.
Murder on Music Row.
Who's going to expose this chart-fixing scheme?
The death that sent shockwaves through Nashville.
He did not want to be part of it.
Someone They Knew with Cameron Hall. Tonight, 7/6 Central on Court TV.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, another dramatic day in the doomsday cult mom murder trial. Our legal experts break down what's had the biggest impact so far with this jury.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
There is
And welcome back. 20-year-old Zachary Latham, the TikToker accused of fatally stabbing his neighbor, William Timmy Durham. After a series of hostile disputes, you know this case, we've been bringing it to you here on Court TV. He has been acquitted of all 6 charges. Take a listen.
How do you find on the count of the indictment charging that the defendant on or about the 4th day of May 2020 in the city of Island, county of Cumberland, aforesaid, and within the jurisdiction of this court, did recklessly cause the death of William T. Durham Sr. contrary to the provisions of NJSA 2C 11-4B1 and against the peace of this state, the government, and dignity of the state?
Not guilty.
Boy, look at the reaction on his face as he heard not guilty. And right now, we want to share some of your reactions to this verdict that you've said on social media. Let me bring my guests in, Scott Friedman and Dr. Laura Petler. What I'm going to do is read a comment and get both of your thoughts. Our first comment comes from Heather, who says, perfect, right decision all the way. Goes to show actions have consequences. And unfortunately, this family learned the hard way. Scott, tell us your thoughts in response to that.
Sure, Your Honor. I did watch this trial in parts during last week, and I was convinced that he would get acquitted as well. I think it was the right decision. This particular gentleman, the victim in this case, did approach Zachary, did try to start an issue with him, did try to hurt him, and he was defending himself. And I think the evidence showed that. So I'm in agreement with this particular comment, Your Honor.
You know, and I'm always wrong with how long I think a jury's going to be deliberating. It's ironic since I've done trial work forever, but I get it wrong every time. I said it's going to take a very long time for this jury to deliberate because they're going to have 2 distinct sides, but I was flat wrong. I just want to share with you and our viewers that it was less than 3 hours that they actually deliberated in total. 2 hours, 41 minutes is how long it took this jury to decide. All right, Laura, our next comment comes from Tom, who says, yes, I agree he isn't guilty, but I feel like it is only a matter of time until he's back in court for something else. He seems like a troubled person and needs to get some help. Now, Laura, before you comment, let me add this. We know that he went to the National Guard. He then left, and they haven't commented on why. But then after this incident happened, he was in Florida, and allegedly while in Florida, he instigated, tried to ram another car, and then allegedly pulled a pellet gun on that driver. Allegedly, we don't have any convictions in that case. But my point is, do you agree or disagree that we may see more out of him?
Yes, I think I agree. I agree that we might see more out of him. And actually, while Scott was talking, I was thinking exactly about Scott's opinion that this is the right decision for this case. And the reason is the Durham family knew that he was dangerous to begin with. And when they went over there, unfortunately, he proved that again, that he was dangerous. But even though he's been acquitted, his behavior is consistent with an alignment with violence. So yes, we could very much see something from this defendant again, even though he was acquitted here in another case.
I am so hopeful he's learned a lesson and is a great, productive member of society moving forward, but time will tell. Let's listen. We're going to get back to the social media comments, but I also wanted to bring in our own Ted Rowland's got an opportunity to speak with his attorneys after that verdict. And one of the questions was why Latham didn't testify. Let's listen to that together.
Almost always in a self-defense case, you have to put your client on. But this case, the whole thing was captured from start to finish on cell phone video. That was the relevant evidence, and that's what we tried to key the jury into. Just the 2 minutes and 40 seconds of runtime on that video, just focused them on the relevant evidence. And since it was all captured on video, we didn't need to put our client on the stand. And I think that was the right decision to not do that. And
I almost think if they'd put their client on the stand, they really risked affecting the jury in a way or giving additional information not captured in that video that may have hurt him in terms of a conviction. All right, let's read one more comment from Carol, who says, "This is so sad in so many ways. I believe he does bear some responsibility for what happened. It does seem he taunted them or was taunting them in hopes of drama happening. Very sad. There was no one innocent in this situation." Scott, talk to us about the law. Does this mean he's off scot-free for these charges because there's no conviction? And does it at all affect his freedom to post on TikTok or talk about his experience?
It does acquit him of all charges, Judge Ashley, and I don't know of any restrictions that are in place for him, unless it's by some other court order, not permitting him to go back to TikToking and being on social media. So I think he's free to go out and be a normal citizen like he was before. Of course, there's a stigma that anybody like this has when they're acquitted of a crime, because there are going to be people who think he's guilty. And so moving on in life, getting proper employment, overcoming that kind of hurdle is not always easy for these defendants.
Yeah, I agree with that. Here he's smiling. So Laura, let me quickly ask you this before I know that we need to pivot, and that is, at first he was crying, you could see the shock and it looked remorseful, but then he, according to a lot of viewers, and I think they agree, he really started to smile and smirk, and they got a little concerned about that. Did you notice anything in his demeanor that stood out to you?
I mean, he just definitely switched gears completely in his head. He was very stoic there in the screenshot that we're seeing now of him. And then all of a sudden, elation and I think anxiety as well. And, he's just relieved to me that that he was acquitted. And, it's just a very interesting and sad case. And again, there are no winners here.
Yeah, absolutely agree with the judge. There are no winners. We can only hope peace for all to move on. All right, you're going to stay with us. Coming up next, we turn to our newest court TV trial. A young mother stands accused of trying to kill her newborn after she's caught on surveillance tossing the baby in the trash.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, another dramatic day in the doomsday cult mom murder trial. Lori Vallow Daybell, along with her husband Chad Daybell, stand accused of murdering her 2 children and Chad's first wife.
She turned her head and was quite upset. She wouldn't make eye contact with anyone.
Court TV teams are live from Boise, Idaho, covering all angles of the trial that has captivated